I'm gonna wait until people join to start talking, because there's no point in me talking when there's nobody here. I'm gonna sit so you guys can see my cool leggings. Okay, well, whatever. I actually don't even know how to tell if anybody's here. I'm gonna turn the, there's no chat history. Okay. Well, if anyone is here, you get the pleasure of watching me eat watermelon. Okay, something weird. Never mind. So I guess nobody's really gonna join. So I'm just gonna talk. I like doing YouTube Live because I just kind of like to ramble. I don't like to edit. I don't like any of that. It seems unnatural to me. What's that blob blocking half my screen? That's weird. Whatever. So I don't like editing videos. I don't like stressing out about making them something. I don't know. Like, I'm not an actress. I'm not a celebrity, whatever. Editing videos is so bizarre to me. I wish I were good at it. Just because I feel like I'd have a little bit more influence. But that's just not me. So I'm just gonna try and use live videos whenever I can to talk about things that are on my mind. So something that has been coming to my attention repeatedly, especially over the past few months, is people falling off, which you shouldn't even be able to say that you're falling off of raw, because you're just a person. You know, how are you all of a sudden identifying, like, why is your identity your diet? You know, so something that has happened to me and happened to some other people I've talked with is where when we slip up with our diets, we feel like this tremendous amount of guilt, and it leads us to slipping even more and more. And I really feel that, like, binge eating is something that comes from a place of guilt, when you feel like you already screwed up, so you might as well just, you know, eat everything in freaking sight and not even consider your health. And when you tell yourself, I'm a raw vegan, I have to only eat raw, sometimes it can kind of get to be a little bit ridiculous. Like, there are people out there eating raw potatoes and, you know, sorry, raw broccoli, which I know there are some people that can eat raw broccoli without having an issue. I'm not one of them. Just people are so obsessed with the word raw that they're eating things that aren't healthy to be eaten raw. And then, you know what I mean? You are gonna be a lot more happy and healthy and balanced eating a baked potato or a steamed potato than you are gonna be eating a raw one. But you're so attached to these foods from your past that you're trying to eat them all raw, and it makes no sense. Another thing is, like, people, the word raw is the like the main goal. Everything has to be raw. So all these raw nuts that are so hard to digest, people are eating. I mean, nuts are hard to digest in general, don't get me wrong, but raw nuts can be very hard to digest, and raw zucchini is really hard to digest, and that's like a staple of raw diets. Like, eating steamed zucchini isn't going to kill you. And when people say that humans all have the same nutritional needs, I think that's true once our bodies are totally clean, if we do get to that state. But how we get there kind of needs to differ from person to person, because You have no idea what that person's genetics are like. You have no idea. I know that people say, well, disease isn't genetics, this isn't genetics, that isn't genetics, but hey Josh, good to see your words. You know, but genetics do play a role in how your body responds to things. Genetics play a role in if you are more likely to have something or another thing happen. So that being said, when you are in the process of cleaning your body, your diet should not look the same as mine. I'm sorry, but I just feel as though, like right now, I'm on day 3 of all watermelon. I really do not feel that somebody coming directly from a processed food diet could do this safely. And detox plans that, you know, are several days or more need to vary from person to person. But when you label yourself and decide, well, I'm a raw vegan, it pushes you away from finding balance. It makes you almost feel ashamed if you slip from this, or saying I'm a fruitarian. There's people that go, I'm a fruitarian, but I eat greens. Who the fuck says you can't eat greens as a fruitarian? You can eat what, like, stop. What are these rules, man? I just don't, like, who came up with these rules? And what is the purpose of them? Who are they actually serving? There's no, like, raw vegan God that says if you eat steamed vegetables, you're not a raw vegan anymore, or you're not good enough. Like, where is this feeling of being not good enough coming from? I feel like so many people are walking around strict in these rules, and it's like, I feel like when I go do things with my family, they're like, oh, nothing cooked, nothing cooked, nothing cooked, and then they don't even understand what that means to me. And I feel like that's the same mentality that people are coming to this lifestyle thinking raw, 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 and they're not really doing it right, and they're not taking care of themselves, and they're not keeping in mind balance, and it leads them to stray from this lifestyle. Like, why? There's no shame in eating steamed vegetables. It's not going to hurt you. It's not bad for you. It's like, it's not going to speed up your healing, but it's not going to reverse your healing. It's not going to put you on bed rest. Like, it's not like you're going and eating, you know, French fries and fucking Oreos. You're eating steamed vegetables. And I feel like we're losing sight of our mental health and our happiness when we do things like this. Your health is so much about everything, and to be able to make some memories with people you care about that aren't about food, sometimes you have to step outside of your little created box that's manufactured for you that says raw, raw, raw. It must be raw. And for me, that might mean that, which it hasn't in the past. It really hasn't meant it, but it might mean in the future saying, I'm going to eat some type of cooked vegetable at a restaurant so I can enjoy myself with my friends, rather than spending the whole meal thinking about when I'm going to be able to leave and eat something myself, or bringing my own food and looking like a nut, you know? So anyway, so it's not that I'm not going to eat like the very, very, very biggest majority of my food raw anymore. It's just that I'm not going to summarize my identity by the way that I eat, because in doing so, when I do eat something that isn't raw, it makes me feel guilty. And guilt is a completely useless emotion. It makes us feel like there's a need to make up for something that we do. And that's a very unhealthy mentality. Well, I ate a baked potato, so now I have to make up for it by fasting. No, just go back to doing what you were doing. You're not reversing all of the healing that you've done by eating something else that is still healthy. It may not be as healthy as this big watermelon, but it's still fucking healthy. Like, all of this crazy tenseness just leads people away from this lifestyle that is so beautiful and healing. And I just don't understand the shame and the guilt behind it. And I don't really care if anybody thinks I'm wrong. So anyway, I'm just gonna go back to eating my melon for a minute because it's so good. Somebody's stopping outside my house. What are you doing? So anyway, so for me, identifying as a vegan is a little bit different because I think that that does really have much more to do with who I am as a person. You know, being a raw vegan has to do with who I am as a person too, but my focus is my health, not my diet. And balance is really important in that, and mental health is really important in that as well. So I just have to do what I know is best for my mental health, and I need to reward myself with the just love and understanding that I deserve to not conform to some box that nobody told me I had to conform to. You know, I decided all on my own that I had to be this extreme high carb, low fat raw vegan. And honestly, that is how I feel my best. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't want to associate with the rules and the labels and the guilt that come from not always being a perfect raw vegan. So raw vegan for me is basically just going to be a hashtag from now on. It's a way to connect to other people that are living this lifestyle and who have similar interests and motives, etc. But there's nothing wrong with eating things that are cooked once in a while. I'm still going to always eat vegan. I'm still going to always eat plant-based. I'm still going to do my best to never have cooked oils. I'm going to do my best to keep it low fat, but sometimes I'm not going to, and I don't need to punish myself for it. I don't have to fast because of it. I don't have to be trying to undo it. I don't have to go run a fucking marathon because I ate 10 avocados. Just relax. Just relax. Okay, 10 avocados is a little excessive. 10 avocados is like something I would do when I was so obsessed with keeping it low fat, and then I have one avocado and be like, oh my God, you already fucked up, just have 10. I'm not doing that anymore. Josh, Watermelon Island is pretty legit. I was doing a juice fast for 7 days, and then I just got really tired of juicing because it's a lot of work. And that's what made me decide to do this. And it's awesome. I love it. I have a new appreciation for watermelon. You think I would get sick of them, but like I love them more every day. And I think by tomorrow I'll be totally past any other cravings. Which is really cool. So I want to talk about the supposed label of being plant-based. I mean, everything is sort of plant-based, right? But for me, I'd rather just like call myself a health enthusiast. Calling myself a vegan is because I care about animals and I want to live in a way that harms them in the least way possible. So that's why I identify as a vegan. But that isn't really about me. That's my interest. That's my compassion. It's not about, food. That really has to do with my interests and my love of animals. That's deep rooted inside of me. Being a raw vegan was just like the stepping stone into me being such a hardcore health enthusiast, because I had been plant-based before. I read Eat to Live by Joel Graham, and I still recommend that to my clients that aren't ready to go raw. But reading 80-10-10 was really the gateway that pushed me into this extensive research about, this is my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm doing right now a watermelon feast or fast or island. I'm only eating watermelon. I already ate the other half of this watermelon today, but I'm kind of doing intermittent fasting in between. Unless I end up hungry again later, then I'll eat more, but for now, this is my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I've been working on it for like 2 hours. And it's so freaking good. Anyway, so raw veganism, 80-10-10, fruitarianism opened the door for me to researching more and more how we digest foods, what our bodies are made to digest, what my body digests best, and I identified as a raw vegan first because it seemed to be what made sense, but now what makes sense is experimenting and listening to my body and finding balance and not feeling obligated to call myself one thing or another, because it closes me off to other possibilities and keeps me from, there's people doing work outside, keeps me from judging others. It makes it so I'm able to help more people and understand more people and not be so close-minded. A couple months ago, a really good friend of mine was going through something, and he was actually recommended by Dr. Morse to eat steamed veggies. And I was like, what? That's crazy. You don't do that. You're out of your mind. You know that won't help you. I don't know. Like, what is that mentality? If nothing is working, try something new. There are people on this raw lifestyle that are not healthy and they're afraid to admit it. There's nothing wrong with not continuing to do something that isn't working for you. So, in the beginning of eating raw, yes, I really believe you have to push through the detox, because we really, really need to clean our systems. And I honestly really believe that my system is very clean. Despite all of the bumps along the way, that's the thing, is that I did mess up along the way. I had like a week where I was eating wasabi peas like all the time. I had a couple weeks ago where I was attempting to see how I would feel doing low carb, and it led me into like a nut addiction, and I ate way too many nuts, which I already knew digest so horribly, but I can tell by the way that my body is handling this and the way that I'm functioning. I just want to make sure I don't get cut off at 20 minutes. I might get cut off at 20 minutes. Anyway, I can tell that my body is still clean. It still knows what to do with the foods that I'm eating. And the little things like that are not setbacks. It's just like pressing pause. So I really just want people to not feel like they have to stick to things that don't work for them. After that initial detox period, which depending on how your previous diet was can last a pretty long time. I think it took me about 6 months to feel like my body was really clean. I know there's still some deep-rooted things that need to come up, and I feel like detox happens in stages. Oh, my phone is falling down. Sorry, guys. I guess I have to just hold my phone now. I feel like detox happens in stages. And, you know, for me, I had a lot of detox right at the beginning, and then I didn't for a while, and then I had another little bout of detox, and every time I had it happen after I felt better than I had before. So, you know, it does take a while, but I feel like after about 6 months, that was like my last bout of it, and since then I've been pretty good, except when I really screw with my back. Sorry, guys. That, you know, in my personal life that have made my mood not as great as it would have been, but I also compare how I handle it now to how I would have handled it in the past, and it's much, much better. So what I'm saying is that, I don't know what I'm saying. After the initial detox, you know, you should not be feeling unhealthy all of the time. No matter what, that's not detox. Detox is not a constant feeling of exhaustion for months. So if that's happening to you, you need to alter something. Don't be afraid that raw doesn't work for you. You just need to find balance, and people are so concerned about this like majestical raw feeling that they're missing that they just hold on and hold on and hold on and keep doing the same thing. But detox is not a 24-hour a day, everyday thing. You know, if you've been raw for 7 months and you're feeling sluggish and exhausted, something is wrong, okay? So, Rose, I have been raw. I started this journey about 8 months ago in September. And it's been totally life-changing. I wouldn't change it for the world. But I really just want to change the boundaries and the stigmatism that are attached to being identified as a raw vegan or fruitarian. I think that it's just so restricting and limiting, and it leads to so much guilt and shame, and nobody wants to talk about it when things aren't working for them. Nobody wants to talk about it when they don't feel their best. Nobody wants to talk about it when they slip up, and I don't want any part of that. So I am a vegan health enthusiast, and most of the time I eat raw living foods, and once in a while I'm not going to, and I don't give a shit. That's it. So I'm just really trying to spread this message of relaxing and calming down. I was inspired by Jack. I can't remember his last name, but he's amazing. Anyway, I guess I got to do the whole please subscribe to my channel jargon, and I have to go call my friend back because she's my best friend in the world and I love her. So thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.